CatLoveDreamingPeach.com.
Happy Thursday. It's May 14th, 2026. It is 12:20 in the afternoon, and I just had a thought that I thought, oh, let me pop on one of those quick videos that I said I was going to do, and then I stopped doing. But my thought, this is about relationships, being single, or specifically people who are single, who are actively searching for love, who are looking for love, who are hoping to find love, who are passively waiting for love, who are trying to become a better person so that they can find love, who feel incomplete without that other person that they think is going to complete them. I was very guilty of this behavior, this mindset, this belief, this hope, this wish, this worldview, this desire that being in a romantic relationship is important, and it's a goal. It's something I want to have in my life. And then I started to, so I was feeling all those feelings for years, and at one point I was like obsessively trying to manifest my specific person, which in my case I was mostly doing passively. I'll say, I was certainly obsessed with a specific person who I thought was my SP, my specific person, and I thought that if I would just mature or up level or become more independent or get my shit together or tell him some truths about myself and why I showed up the way I showed up when I was showing up all those years before, that somehow it would click into place. And this man that I thought that I loved so deeply for so long, but yet didn't choose, was the one I should have chosen. And if I get my shit right, then he will see that and he will realize, and we will fall in love again. But at some point during this process, it occurred to me, oh, the reason you're obsessed with this guy who's absent, Kat, is because you're absent. And in fact, deep down, I mean, there was like a deep down that I thought he was really my guy, but then there was like a deeper deep down that was like, this motherfucker ain't coming. You love the fact that there's a part of me that loved the fact that he was actually absent. And then another layer of my healing was revealing to me that, oh wait, you're obsessed with this emotionally unavailable person because you're emotionally unavailable, Kat. You are not actually available to be in a real relationship, because if you were, you certainly wouldn't be fucking waiting around for a ghost. And then that started to make me realize that people who are obsessed with someone who is not available, who's married, who's long distance, who doesn't even know they exist, who said no, who's back and forth, who's hot and cold, who's, on and off again, whatever the variation of your version of why this person, they're really just your best friend, but they don't see you like that. It's your work crush, whatever, whoever. Ultimately, I came to what I believe is true, that anyone who's obsessed with someone who's absent, and I made a caveat to make a separate category for people who are obsessed with their loved one who passed away. Again, not to say that that should happen forever and that there's no issues with that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm removing those people from the category, okay? That's a different kind of issue. I'm talking about your loved one, or the one you desire, the one you wish was your loved one, the one that you think you love, but you actually don't love, because if you really loved somebody, you wouldn't want them to be with somebody who they don't want to be with. And if they don't want to be with you, then if you really loved them, then you wouldn't want them to be with you because you know that they don't really love you and then they would be unhappy. So if you really love somebody and you want the best for them, which is whatever is actually they decide is the best for them, not what you think is the best for them, and not what you selfishly want and wish that they would want to. But if you really truly love somebody, then you would want them to be their ultimate happiness, which you would hopefully, if you're a decent, logical and kind-hearted and just a good person, you would know that everyone gets to determine what makes them happy based on what they decide, not based on what you decide and not based on what you would decide for you. For example, I'm looking at apartments right now, and there's an apartment that I knew being in it that it wasn't for me. I didn't feel at home. It didn't have the right, there's certain things that I care about. For example, being on a second floor and being on a quiet street. And my children, they either don't know what it's like to live on the first floor in a busy street, and so they don't know that they don't like it, or they really don't care, but they've never lived like that, so they don't know, but they think that they don't care. And then my sister, who said she wouldn't mind, even though she lives on a quiet street on the second floor. And I'm just popping in to correct. My sister actually does live in the first floor apartment, but because her apartment is on a hill, the way it's like situated, the front is on the first floor, but there's like stairs. You have to walk up 1, 2, it's like 3, 1, 2, 3 little staircases. So the front of her apartment, while technically it is the first floor, it's raised up. But then because it goes like this, when you get to the back of her apartment, the kitchen window is actually like what you would consider on the first floor, but because it's in the back of the house, the only people that are like walking by or driving by are tenants. So very, very few. So yes, she's actually on the first floor, but the front of the apartment is situated higher, which would be more like a second floor, and it's an incredibly quiet street, so it doesn't matter anyway. Just adding that. I guess she did live on a busy street on the first floor, but that was like 20 some years ago. So again, it's easy to say, hey, I would live here. I like this place, but that doesn't mean that the next person would. And you can't force someone to want to live in a situation that they just don't want to, just because you would want to. And so my point is, just because you think you love somebody and you want to be with them, that doesn't mean that that's what's their best good. And so when you're obsessed with a specific person who doesn't want you or who hasn't chosen you, you don't really love them. You don't really love them. You're obsessed with them. But that wasn't the point that I was going to make. The point that I was going to make is after I went through a lot of these phases, levels of healing on my journey, and I started to ask myself for real, what do you even want a man for? What do I want? What do I envision that a romantic relationship would be like? Like, what is it that I would get from this connection, this person, this relationship? You know, what do I think that he would get? What would I want a man to want to be with me for? What would I want myself to be with a man for? And my genuine answer at that time was like maybe picking up heavy shit, carrying my heavy bags from the car, but I have 2 strong sons. I don't, maybe later when they move out and I'm older, but I don't need to be romantically involved with somebody just because, and I can actually do it. Like, it's not like I can't manage it. So my son might do it in 1 trip and maybe I take 3. I'm one of those kind of people. I don't give a fuck about taking 3 trips because I would rather just take 3 trips and not drop my shit or fall down or whatever. So And that's some part of my exercise. I don't get a lot of exercise. I need a lot more exercise. So if I could take 3 trips to get the fucking groceries in, whatever. At least I'm self-sufficient and I'm independent. I don't need a man up in my motherfucking house just to do that, okay? I don't need a man. Like, I don't need a man to do the plumbing or to take my... Like, I can take my car to the mechanic. I do that. When I bought a car and I needed a mechanic, I didn't just ask somebody where to go. I researched like 10 mechanics in the area. I wanted a place where if I take my car, I can take the bus home or walk home. I wanted a place that could work on the kind of car I had. Like, I took the time, I called places, I found out how much they charge per hour. I, took my car to one place, I didn't like it. I took my car to a different place, and he's been fine. And that's where I go now. And it's like men in these fucking comments, like, who's going to mow the lawn and take care of your car? Me. I live in an apartment and they have a fucking landscaper. I don't need to mow the lawn. And wherever I move next is also going to be an apartment. And I probably won't need to mow the lawn. If somehow I ended up in an apartment where the homeowner was like, lawn maintenance is on you, then I would buy a fucking lawnmower and I would take care of the lawn. Like, men out here acting like women are incapable of doing shit. But anyway, the point of this video was really to say that so much of our society and our world and the way we think about things, the way that people push out their messages and stuff, it's like being in a romantic relationship is pushed as the pinnacle of existence. When you're younger, it's like, oh, you want to, get married and have a family. And then if I went about it a completely unconventional way. And, it worked out that the person I was super in love with and I thought that I would marry and have a family with and like spend my life together as husband and wife, it turned out that he didn't want that. And it also turned out that we weren't compatible. And I still love him now. He's the father of my 2 children. He was actually my high school sweetheart. I was in love with him then, and I'm not in love with him anymore. I love him very deeply. He's one of the people that I care most about. He's very important to me and to my children. He's active in their lives. He is far from perfect, and I have a million issues with him, and we're not, when I say a million issues with him, I mean like in my mind about the way he does things, but whatever. But he's consistent, he's reliable, and he is him, he's a very unique individual. He's a musician and an artist and very smart, intelligent person as well. And what I thought I wanted, and that's another thing, this is what I'm saying, like so many people think that they want to be in a couple. They think they want this marriage. They think they want this family. They think they want this lifestyle. But you're not, like, it's more about the idea of it than the reality of it. And that's what and it's not true for everybody. There's some people who you found a great partner, and there's some people who are more like, I guess, however their temperament, their life, their family life, their personal desires, the way that they show up in life, they're more harmonious with another human being. Like, they want to partner. And what I have really started to realize in the last 12 years is, more so in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, is that I feel very unlikely that I would partner. I'm a very incredibly independent and solitary, not like lonely, but like the things that I like to do. I work from home. I edit videos. I was saying, I don't want to live on a busy street with a bunch of people walking by in cars because I fucking hate people. I don't like, I do enjoy the energy of people. I like my family. I like my kids and my sister, my brother, and my mom. And I have some friends that I really love, but, I just don't, I'm not extroverted in that way. I don't like a lot of people around. It drains my energy. It's distracting. It makes it hard for me to do the things that I want to do. And so many women in their 50s. I'm 52. I'm at the very beginning of my 50s, but I've been single for so many years now, and I just truly love it. I just cannot imagine having a grown-ass man there who I have to like care about every fucking all these things. Like, it's so tedious. It's like when you're single, that gives you permission. I mean, you should have permission in a healthy relationship. You would have permission to focus on yourself and to do what you need to. But in a healthy relationship, you are going to pour into the we and the us and the him or her and or them. And, you know, and it's just like there's just a different priority in your life that you focus on when you are like, I'm a pair. I am a half of a thing. I am the one half of this other thing that together we're a whole, and I operate as like that thing. And I don't know if it's my temperament. I don't know if it's my childhood trauma. I don't know if it's, I have like many multiple levels of childhood trauma, so many that you could pick from. And, you know, I don't know if it's this SA. I don't know if it's being abandoned by my biological mother. I don't know if it was the physical abuse, the psychological abuse, the you know, all of the things. I don't know if it's because I'm an incredibly introverted person with very creative, artistic, solitary activities that I prefer. I've joked a lot that I hate having fun. But which is not true. I love having fun. The things that I find fun are things that other people might consider boring, you know, and like the things that many people stereotypically think are fun. It's like, oh God, that's so much work for me. Like I don't enjoy the things that maybe traditional people think are fun. It's not that I've never enjoyed fun stuff. I'm just saying, like, I know what I like. I like what I like to do. And my point is that I saw a post here. I saw this post. I can read it. It's still in front of me. It started out so good, and then it just went downhill. Focus on loving yourself instead of loving the idea of other people loving you. Learn to be by yourself. Learn to enjoy your own company. This is all great stuff. Discover what you like to do. Take up a new hobby or learn a new skill, and then it goes downhill. Think of the type of person you want to attract. Why? Why do you need to think about who you want to attract? What if you just, now I'm going offline. And that was the whole point of me making this video. What if you didn't focus on who you want to attract and you focused on attracting yourself? What if? And whether you ultimately think you really want love or you ultimately think, you know what, I am perfectly happy and probably better off single, which is where I'm at. The fact is, if you would just focus on yourself instead of focusing on this imaginary one day maybe perfect guy, or not perfect, this one day imaginary imperfect person that's going to step into your big void that you have over here. This is what I'm saying. If your life is fulfilled, if you're doing the things that you love, if you, and I get it, there are some people who are extroverted and they just like, they crave other people around them. And as an introverted person, it feels needy to me. Extroverted people feel needy to me because I'm gonna hang out with you. It's just like, ugh. I saw you. We hung out for a few hours, and I'll see you in a couple months. You know, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It's fine. It's all good. You know, like we don't need to be all up under each other because I'm busy. And so, but anyway, my point is like so many people in this world could be their own partner. You could love yourself. You could love yourself more. You could spend more time. I'm not saying you have to be alone, you know, take classes or go to university or, you know, whatever kind of classes, academic classes, dance class, art class, music class, metalworking class, needlepoint, sewing, singing, band, drawing, stained glass making, glass blowing, like literally anything that you could fucking imagine in the world, that you could, bird watching, archaeological digs, like Native American history. I mean, there are so many things. Libraries have adult schools. There are a variety of things that you can do. You could do things for free. You could do things if you have money where you can spend money. You could pour that time and that energy not into finding love or attracting love or obtaining love or even bettering yourself to be someone that's more attractive and more lovable and more desirable to this imaginary one day you hope for lover, but for yourself. Stop being man-centered or even like romance-centered or like partnership-centered or like love and and like, I have to be marriage-centered. Like, choose me. I'm going to be chosen. I'm going to be the one. No, just be your own one. Be your own specific person that you pour your love and your energy into, and that you look to impress yourself, attract yourself, develop yourself for yourself. Don't develop yourself to attract somebody who's going to then extract from you. So, I mean, and for many, many women living in this patriarchal, misogynistic society, marriage is a job. It's an unpaid job of unpaid labor. Here you are, single, attractive, intelligent, creative, sexy, all these things. You can be sexy for yourself if you want to. Now, some people have a much stronger sex drive than I do. I am so fucking glad that I don't want sex. When I was young and I was like a lot more in that world of like sexual attraction, and when I was super in love with my baby's daddy, one time we were talking to his mom, and his mom was saying how her relationship with his dad had evolved, and they're best friends and they're companions and they love each other and they're affectionate and all this stuff, but that sex is it's just not that big of a deal. And I was like, that will never happen to me. That's what I was thinking. Like, ugh, that sounds awful. And now I'm like, that is fucking freedom. I know I have a friend and she still has that strong, intense desire and sexual urge and stuff. And I just like, I think it's beautiful, it's sexy, it's wonderful, it's great. But I'm also like, I am so glad that ain't me. Because since it ain't me, I don't have to fucking worry about trying to, like, I don't need it, I don't want it. And it's like a fucking superpower. The fact that I don't need nor want a man sexually, and I don't need or want him to be up in my house, like, even if he did dishes and shit, you're making dishes and shit, you do, like, I get it. Like, if there was a man who was truly a partner, like, you grew up doing your chores and you didn't stop just because you got into a relationship, like that kind, like a decent human being kind of man, not a misogynistic, lazy fuck who thinks that it's your job to pick up after him and cook and clean for him. No. I'm just not that kind of girl. I'm not that kind of woman. I'm a woman. I'm not a girl anymore because a girl is a child. But you know what I'm saying? I've never wanted that kind of relationship. I've never thought of myself that way. I've never been that way. I'm not wired that way. I don't desire to be that way. I do my own chores because I fucking have to. It's a chore and I try to make the best of it. I got to go throw the load in the dryer and then start another load. I got to put another load in the dishwasher right now, and I folded and put some clothes away. And anyway, I do all this shit every day. It's thankless. It's endless. It never ends. And my point is that there are so many people out here that I think you could be happier in general if you would just switch your mindset away from this whole like, I'm going to find love, I'm going to attract love, I'm going to make myself better, sexier, smarter, stronger, more fit, more this, more that, or less this or less that. I'm going to lose this, lose that, get more money, get a better car, get a better house, whatever it is that you are going to do. And you're doing it all in the hopes, the desire, the wish, the want, that someone would like step into your life. Maybe if you start thinking of yourself as the person you need to win over, impress, work to gain your own trust, work to build up your own esteem, your self-esteem, do these improvements, not because don't learn something because you think, oh, that'll be really interesting if I meet a cool guy and then we can talk about this, because do it because it's what you've always wanted to know. Don't take a class because you think you'll meet someone cool there. Take a class because you think you will become a cooler person by learning and doing whatever it is the thing that you're going to be doing there. Do it for you. Do this life thing for yourself. Partner with yourself. Be your own best friend. Be your own loving partner. Be your own companion and your own support. And you could even be your own lover. There's plenty of ways to do that too. And I just think that the world would be a happier place if more people realize that partnering is just not a requirement for everyone. Some people want to, and they do, and they're miserable. Some people want to, and they do, and they're super happy. Some people want to, and they never partner. Some people don't want to commit, but yet they have a new partner every other week. Just popping in to add that the update of what I currently think as far as like if I ever were to contemplate having a romantic partner, what would I want that partner for? What would the purpose be in my life? What would the purpose be in my life? And that would be friendship, companionship. Maybe at some other point in my life, I would feel differently about sex. Maybe when I've gone through some additional levels of healing and I'm in a different phase in my life, I'll feel new things. I'll have new desires and new experiences that I want to try out. And maybe I'll meet someone and we'll be incredibly compatible. I mean, you can't know you're incredibly compatible until you build a friendship and you take time and you get to know them and you see them in a variety of circumstances and situations and experiences and times of year and birthdays and holidays and getting a lot of money and losing some money and stress and death and not that you have to go through every single thing, but the point is that it takes time to know if you're really compatible with somebody, because if there's first the initial stages of attraction and chemistry and desire and excitement, and you might think you're compatible with them because you want them, but that doesn't mean you're actually compatible with them. And loving someone is not the same as being compatible with them. So what would I want a relationship for? It would be because I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm busy, I'm successful, and in all that I've done and all that I've learned and grown and evolved and healed at whatever phase in my life that would become, that I still have time in my day, in my week, in my life to spend with someone else that isn't currently being spent doing other things. It's just that at this stage, I know that I don't have any interest in dating someone. And I know that if I got to the next phase or stage of my life where I was interested in dating somebody, I know that I would want to take it slow. I know that I would take it slow. I would maintain my life pretty much as it was. But as I already said, if there was time, if I have my life and I'm fulfilled and I'm successful financially and emotionally, I'm spending time with my family and my friends, and I have all the time I need to do my work and to relax and to work with my hobbies and my side gig and my side business and this and that and everything, and I still have time where I know that in a consistent way, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, that inside my life that I have actual time to share with another person. And that not only do I have time to, but that I have the desire to, that I have the emotional desire and I'm open and I'm ready, that I have the space in my physical life where it would make sense to have somebody over and to spend time with someone and to go out and to make dates and to be consistent and reliable. Not just like once or twice a month, I think, oh, it would be nice if I had a date tonight, but it's not realistic because I really wouldn't have time to give them in a fair and genuinely open way, and that it would be selfish of me to try to satisfy some small level of desire knowing that I'm not actually prepared to invest in a relationship with a person. But if I were to get to a point where I was truly ready to date, and I knew that I had the time and the mental capacity and the emotional capacity and the physical capacity, then I would certainly not want to live with that person. And if I started dating somebody and enough time passed and I spent enough months, years getting to know this person, and at some point it made sense, that it just would make sense because we just started to spend so much time together, which I still can't imagine or fathom, but things happen and people change and grow and evolve, and that's the purpose to me. I would not want to live with that person. And if somehow it just seemed like, you know what, you must live with this person and it's truly the best thing for you, for me, then I would want to make sure that I have my own room to myself, that I could do whatever I want. We could have a shared space and common areas, but I must absolutely have my own room. The soup is ready. My son is getting the soup because it's for him. And I would like to be sure that I could afford to live in that home by myself, that I would never put myself in a position again financially where I live, my home and my stability is dependent on another person to pay the bills. And that the thing is, I can imagine a situation where in the future my children have grown up, they've moved out, I'm single, and I get to the point where I meet a man and we're really compatible and we spend a lot of time together, and then he's like, let's live together. And that it would make sense that he would want to live somewhere expensive that maybe we can only afford together. And that's where I have to say, girl, don't you ever do that shit again. I don't give a fuck who you think this man is. I don't give a fuck how nice and compatible he is. Don't you ever get yourself in a financial situation again where your home, where you live, is dependent on somebody else paying your fucking bills. Unless you're an old lady who can't take care of yourself anymore and you go move in with one of your children because they're going to take care of you. Because you can't work, you can't survive, or they put you in a fucking home. But, at that point, when I'm old and decrepit, or old and need help, you might not be decrepit just because you need help, but that's a different situation. But I cannot ever imagine allowing myself to be financially dependent on a person that's a romantic partner. That's what I'm saying. One of my grown children, or some kind of situation where it's like it's a assisted living, but a romantic partner, nah, bitch. Don't ever fucking do it. Don't. What I'm saying? I'm just saying these are thoughts that were coming out at the moment, and I wanted to share them and get them on a video and share it with you. And hopefully that was something that you found useful or at least interesting. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you always get a notification when I drop a new video or I go live. And you can visit my website, which is catlovedreamingpeach.com. And I'm on TikTok and Instagram and Patreon, all with the same name, catlovedreamingpeach.com. See you later. Bye. And we out.